Good evening. It's the stuff nightmares are made of. An Adelaide grandmother's been given the shock of her life discovering a stranger living in the roof of her house.
She'd been hearing noises for months, her calls for help going unanswered. But when police investigated, they found the man had been making himself at home with a bed, even food from the kitchen.
Jonathan Edwards has our exclusive story.
For months, this grandmother knew something wasn't right.
I started hearing things in the roof, but at first I thought it was a possum.
But the noises kept coming.
My cat started getting distressed about looking up there. Lots of different things, items went missing, but I thought, no, maybe I've misplaced them.
The pensioner, who lives alone, says she repeatedly contacted the Housing Trust, convinced something or someone may have been in her roof.
I told Housing it was countless times. Nobody was ever sent out.
Then, in the early hours of the morning, everything changed.
There was this humongous bang. It sounded like somebody had almost fallen through the roof.
Her worst fears were realised.
He started swearing when he fell. I was even too freaked out to ring the police at that stage because I thought if I made a noise, whoever was up there would come down.
When police searched later in the day, she says officers found evidence someone had been living there.
There's been someone up there this whole time, getting up and down in my home when I've been asleep, and there was all sorts of things, a bed, tins of food, crockery, cutlery, shoes and drugs.
The grandmother says police told her they believed access may have been gained through damaged roof tiles. Suddenly, months of strange occurrences started making sense.
The toilet seat was up on several occasions and there was fresh contents in the toilet.
The discovery brought both relief and heartbreak.
I got quite upset and I thought, no, this is not right.
The Housing Trust has told 7 News it takes the safety concerns of its tenants seriously and will arrange a time to come here to make the roof space more secure.
And housing staff are not equipped or trained to remove people from a property.
I just feel like they make you out to feel like you're stupid. Why wasn't that sorted out?
Police have confirmed investigations are ongoing, but say it would be inappropriate to comment any further. Jonathan Edwards, 7 News.
And Jonathan joins us live. Jono, the man involved is still on the run.
Yeah, he is, Rosanna. When police went to the woman's house to investigate her claims, the squatter was nowhere to be found. All officers came across was the bedding, food and household items he'd left behind. SAPOL has told 7 News this is very much an active investigation, confirming they are following several lines of inquiry. But at this stage, no arrests have been made. As for the pensioner at the centre of this nightmare, we've agreed not to reveal her identity or where she lives for her own safety. She tells me she won't sleep easy until this man is in custody. Will?
Thank you, Jono. The embattled State Electoral Commission wants to delay SA's local government elections until next year. Let's go live to political reporter Michaela Kamarik. Michaela, the extraordinary request comes after the Commission's disastrous handling of the state election.
It does, Will, and it's warning without more time to address what went wrong, the same problems could happen again. The Commission has asked the state government to delay elections across the state's 67 councils from November until the middle of next year. It says that would give it time to consider and implement the findings of an independent review into the state election debacle. The March poll was marred by a string of failures, including lost ballot boxes, technical breakdowns and late staff payments.
I'm concerned that without sufficient time to prepare to consider the causes and contributors to those issues, that we would find ourselves in similar circumstances in the local government election.
We are exceptionally frustrated. We are exceptionally disappointed that we've got to this stage. The government has appointed...
Now, the Attorney-General says Cabinet has discussed the request and a decision is expected within days. But he refuses to be drawn on the future of Electoral Commissioner Mick Sherry, who's on mysterious personal leave following the election, still collecting a salary of more than $300,000 a year. The independent review is due to report its findings in October. Rosanna?
Okay, thank you, Michaela. Police Commissioner Grant Stevens has defended the actions of two of his officers after a man died during an attempted arrest in Clare on Sunday.
Sarah Cumming joins us in the studio. Sarah, he's reviewed the officers' body cam vision.
He has, Will, and he thinks everything looks above board. Police were called to Opie Street in Clare on Sunday afternoon, where they say the 44-year-old was acting aggressively. They claim the man, who was living in his grandparents' caravan, was armed with a metal pole, damaging property and threatening officers and an elderly man and woman. He was tasered by police, became unresponsive during the arrest and died at the scene. Grant Stevens says a preliminary review of the body-worn video shows the officers acted appropriately and within general orders. The police union has also thrown its support behind the officers.
All the information that I have at hand is they've done a very courageous job. They're going about their work. They're confronted by dynamic, life-threatening situations. They've responded in line with their training and in a courageous manner.
Now, the Commissioner has also acknowledged a member of the public who tried to help police in their efforts to restrain the man, and a Police Commissioner's inquiry is underway and a report's being prepared for the coroner, Will.
All right, thank you, Sarah. An Adelaide businessman's been ordered to stand trial accused of child sex offences. 74-year-old insurance broker Dennis Rebeck pleaded not guilty to 15 charges, including grooming a child outside Australia for sex. He was arrested by Border Force Police in July last year after arriving on an international flight. Police say they found sexually explicit material on his phone.
The state government's facing legal action over its handling of the North Adelaide golf course redevelopment. Parklands activists have applied for an injunction in the federal court that, if successful, could put the brakes on the project.
Court papers at the ready, a move that could achieve what protesters have been trying to do for weeks.
Look at what you're doing!
Or leave Edwin Kemp-Attrell facing bankruptcy.
It's a pretty big decision. It's probably the biggest thing that I've done in my life.
Alongside Ghana woman Jeanette Millerer, the pair has applied for an injunction in the federal court.
The parklands belong to all South Australians and nobody is above the law, including the Premier.
If it gets the green light, it would halt works on the controversial North Adelaide golf course redevelopment, while an investigation begins into whether the $45 million taxpayer-funded project breached environment and heritage laws.
For me, this is not about a golf course, it's my bloodline. This is my family history, this is my culture and my heritage.
You know, every citizen's got their rights under the law, and if someone wants to elect to take up this particular course of action, they're welcome to it.
But the Premier's main concern is what happens if the pair is successful. He's not convinced there'd be any real benefit, saying it would only leave a half-finished golf course that isn't open to the public.
I think he's very clever in the way that he spins things.
Mr Kemp-Attrell remains on leave from his public service job.
This is very separate to my work. This is what I'm doing as a private citizen.
A hearing on the matter is expected by the end of the week. Madison Stanley, 7 News.